This is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to Covert Radio.
Hello, this is Covert Radio. It is Monday morning, 123-2023. And as you know, we are always looking and pursuing higher truth at any and all cost. That's right. Higher truth at all costs. That's a new shirt for Covert Radio, even though I haven't launched the merch officially. I mean, you know, there is covertradio.com, but yeah. And that's one of the new shirts I just designed. It says higher truth at all cost. But I'm not sure that a lot of people want that higher truth. I'd like to give a shout out to Tone Space, who is also pursuing higher truth. And I can't thank him enough for recent revelations. You know, it's weird because I think it was Clone 87. I can see your name. I could see your little avatar, but I think it's Clone 87. It was a recent comment on Covert Radio on one of the videos, and I forget exactly specifically what it was, but they're like, you know, you've been talking about this for like 5 years. And I mean, I say that all the time, but it's actually startling sometimes when, you know, you look around or you watch and you listen to other people, and it's like, oh my God, man, I've been talking about this for so long. And I guess there's a process to higher truth. I've talked about the ladder before, and at any moment you can get off that ladder. Whether you want to get off on the UFO level, or if you want to get off on the NWO level, or if you want to get off on the, you know, the, what is it? The Bohemian Grove level, or the Alex Jones level, or the, you know, Agent in Place Alex Jones level, or whatever you want. But the weird thing about knowledge is discernment in this day and age. If you do not have discernment, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you pursue, because you can't discern what the truth is. And I've constantly for years talked about vibrating, and, you know, a lot of people that come here, or I should say maybe the few people that come here, it's not by accident that you are hearing my voice right now. It's by no accident whatsoever. We are soldiers. This is a war. And since the first day you heard my voice, I have reminded you that we are soldiers and this is a war. Just like my old intro that I may go back to or remix it or reconfigure it. There's a war, old friend. a world war. And it's not about who got the most bullets. It's about who controls the information. What we see and hear, how we work, what we think. It's all about the information. Pull up any old Covert Radio show. That intro, that's what you'll hear. And I go on to say, you want a war? You got a war. There is no going back. Once you cross certain echelons of knowledge, you can't go back. Because it's like walking past somebody drowning in a 3-foot puddle. And all you have to do is bend over and put your hand out. You cannot go back. It is your job to continue to try to help and educate people about the reality of this reality and what's happening and how it is affecting all of us. See, that's the other thing about knowledge and where we're going as a society, as a people, as a planet. We're all in a big funnel, and we are going to go out the other end. Just because you think you're way on the other side of the end of the big tunnel, or you're trying to or the funnel, you're trying to hold on to the edge, or you got your people over there and there's these people, it don't matter, because you can't hold on forever. You're not going to be able to sit on the side of a funnel for too long. And eventually you slide down to the little tube before you get pushed out of the other end. That's where we're going. They are consolidating power. They are consolidating control. This has happened many, many, many times over. If you guys remember, it's in my book, which I've pulled down to revise. That's the problem with being a thinker or an author or a co-creator, is a new term I'm going to start using, because Covert Radio is a co-creator. Tone Space is a co-creator. There are many co-creators just in the sector, and it's, again, no mistake that we all know who each other are. But that's the problem with chasing higher knowledge. Once you think you have the next or the last or the, one of the last few puzzle pieces, somebody's like, hey, you're not seeing all the puzzle. Let me turn a light on over there. And you're like, oh my God. But I've always maintained, as the title of my book, Alien Game of Chess. This is a board. It is flat. We're under a dome, and this is a procession, probable simulation of a reality that is fully under your control. Perception is everything. And I've been saying this for a long time too about reality. I've said reality is very personal. It's very, very personal. We are all in our own reality. Yes, we commingle, we coexist. The people in your life, you coexist. The people at work, whatever. But at the end of the day, you are in your own reality. And the procession of control is controlling your energy, your thoughts. To control your energy and your thoughts. That's why you got to be really careful of where you spend your cognitive time and energy. Because there are so many people and two different forces that are vying for your attention, who want to make impressions on you, who need to make impressions on you. Higher truth at all costs, but you really have to discern what the source is and what their intentions are for you and for the system, I guess you could say. You control your own reality way more than I think you want to either accept, admit, or realize. And there's all kind of factions trying to take you out of the game. They're trying to score. They want your soul. They want your attention. And there's so many traps. There's so much evil around us. But how have you personally been affected by it? Sickness, disease, health issues, people dying. I'm it's 17, 18, somewhere maybe 19 right now, people that have died close to me from heroin and fentanyl. And I'll still say that this is a, even though, don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, we're going to get into race. Not in this video. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. But yeah, we're going to get into race. We're going to get into race big time in the next couple videos because I want to make something crystal clear to all of you about this race war. This is not the first time it's happened here. This is not going to be the last time it's happened here. But it is happening. And the white race has been and is under attack. And all of this flood, these 15, 20 million illegal immigrants that are just walking over the border is for a very specific reason. I'd say 5 different reasons. And we're only being told one, and it's a lie. Can you imagine that? They're here because they want a better life. That might be true for about, 10% of them. This is a war. And it's being fought on so many different fronts. I want to play this video for you guys here.
I'm going to go right in here in the San Francisco harm reduction site, and I'm going to see what kind of paraphernalia they're giving out today. They gave me a whole box of syringes. This is a whole box of syringes. Those are a whole box of syringes. I mean, literally for free. You can't even get a plastic straw in San Francisco, let alone they're just giving away as many needles as you want. I have Narcans. I have these sanitary cookers. I have tie-offs to tie off your arm. I came out with saline water, clean saline packages to cook the dope with. These are to hold, these little tie-offs are to hold these like this. You twist it around there so you don't burn your hand while you're cooking the dope.
Anybody can just come into this place and grab these bags full of equipment. For free.
And little cotton swabs to suck the dope up through. I asked them what this was for. This is a new one that they're giving out, these chopsticks, and they said it was a pusher for a glass pipe so you could push your crack inside the pipe more. Brillo pad to filter the crack in the pipe. Then they give you these straws, right? And these mouthpieces for the meth pipe. The most alarming thing was I asked where I could go to get some help to get clean. What program can I get into right now to get clean and off the streets? And they had no idea.
Okay. You know, here's the reality of what's happening. This is a war. And this isn't even so much in the spiritual realm, which, again, like it or not, you're in a war. Whether you want to actively admit that or not, it does not matter. Because if you don't want to admit it and accept your position on this field of battle, then you're just going to be a pawn of circumstance. And the quicker you can be brushed off to the side, used, abused, hurt, destroyed, robbed, killed, whatever, just some idiot sitting in a room for 20 years, whatever you want to do, you can recognize your role in this war, or you can just set it out, but you're still going to be used. It does not matter. This is San Francisco. This guy is actively walking into one of many locations and getting a drug survival kit. This isn't a how to get clean survival kit. This isn't a job training survival kit. You said he had said that, well, how can I get help? How can I get clean? Not only is this coinciding in the last few days, but this is also lining up in a city, the tech city, which is San Francisco. They just laid off around 70,000 people in Silicon Valley and all around the country. All of them are tech jobs. All of them are technology jobs. And this is going to be another video coming up. See, I was going to put all this together in the Sunday show, but I really have to start making quicker videos. I'm already at 15 minutes and it's just, I don't know. I just have too much information. And once I get started, it's hard to stop. So, I mean, I don't know. But I want to share with you guys how this personally is going to affect you. Why do you think there's 70,000? And that's just so far. I mean, we're 12 or 14,000 of those just happened within the last week or so. Why do you think that is? This all holds hands, I assure you. It's because of artificial intelligence and because of the 15 million people in this country that seemingly are showing up here and there, but the reality is where are they? Where are 15 million people? Right now, there are around 6,000 to 8,000 people walking over the border every single day. 6,000 to 8,000 illegal immigrants walking across the U.S.-Mexico border every single day. And I mean, I don't know how many people you think are being stopped or sent back, but it's not too many. And once Title 42 ends, which I'm not going to get into that, but that's a Trump era policy. But once that ends, they're projecting 10 to 14,000 immigrants every day, all the way up until potentially, at the worst case scenario, 18,000 migrants a day, not a week, not a month. Up to 18,000 migrants a day. Will be crossing the border, the U.S.-Mexico border. And again, I ask you, where are these people? If the tech layoffs are just a sign of the times of what's coming. And all of the stores, and I have so much that I need to get into, but I don't think it's going to be this video here. All of the stores around here, and I live in such a depressed, backwards, like ghetto. Like this is an area that is, it looks like a bomb went off. It looks like a war has been fought here. There are buildings ransacked, boarded. I'm like, it's crazy how much poverty and death and drug addiction and gun violence is right around me. Blocks within blocks. Well, actually, there was a shooting literally at the other end of this block about 3 months ago. If the trend is tons of layoffs, up to 18,000 people crossing every day, there's no jobs because Walmart, all of the stores are turning to these AI systems of self-checkout and now completely moneyless, cardless checkouts, which I just got approached at a gas station. I just happened to be there. This was about 4 days ago, the day it launched. And this young kid come up to me and said, "Hey, did you ever blah, 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 and I was like, yeah, I mean, like self-checkout. He's like, no, this is different. Well, if you remember, several years ago, I showed you stores in China, little convenience stores in China and Japan, that nobody works at them. You literally just walk in through RFID tagging and chipping and artificial intelligence. They know what you grab. They know there's no scanning, nothing. You just walk out of the store. And because of all the electromagnetic sensors, cameras, and RFID on you, your smartphone, your chip, and the items that are being walked out, they just charge you. They just charge you. Very similar to in America removing all of the people out of the toll road locations. At least around here they have in the last couple years. There's nobody that you can't pay cash anymore. You either sign up for the service that you have to put money in an account every month, or they just send you a bill with a picture of your car and your license plate. But if there's 18,000 people walking across the border every day, there's 70,000 just so far, 12,000 being in the first month of 2023 of tech jobs, just the tech industry, not including all the other industries. If all industries, the service industry is moving towards artificial intelligence, so much so even the people who created are now losing their jobs, where are 18,000 people going every day? Well, there's two places, and one I'm not going to get into in this video, but you see the other one on the screen. And see, this is what I mean by this is going to affect you. I don't know if you've had anybody in your life affected by gun violence or the drug trade, but this is something nobody's really going to tell you, and they're not talking about. They're not talking about the Sinaloa cartel. They're not talking about La Raza, the Latin Kings, Los Zetas. They're not talking about any of them. You may hear it here. It's very compartmentalized. It's very centralized. But what's happening, especially in Chicago, Sinaloa, La Raza, Latin Kings, they're all taking over block by block by block by block. And they are wiping out entire neighborhoods that were at one time predominantly black or black controlled. They're wiping them out and they're taking them over. They're taking the drug business over. But you have to step back and say, well, this has always been the talking point in like Boys in the Hood since the 90s. You don't see any drug men or gun manufacturers in the hood, but we got tons of guns. You don't see any of this, but we got tons of liquor stores. Why is it that they put a gun store and a liquor store on every corner of, why? Because they want us to kill ourselves. Same thing as with fentanyl. But if you look at this graphic here, and this is from the DEA, this is the flow of fentanyl into our country from China. We are at war. China's undeclared fentanyl war to kill an entire generation or two of fighting age men. Young men and women are destroyed by drugs, by this weaponized weed that I'm not doubting has fentanyl in it, because I've seen what it does to my family members. And or you're getting fake pills like Mac Miller did, who died of an overdose, which was fentanyl, but he thought he was getting pills. But it's wiping out an entire generation of fighting age men, while you have 18,000 a day fighting age men moving in to take over this country. There are some people that call this replacement theory. We can get into that too. Never doubt, though, is, I mentioned this in the last video. Once the white race is wiped out through miscegenation and every other thing they're pushing, which we're going to talk about this eventually. What do you think's going to happen next? Why do you think there's so much violence? Like, I keep mentioning Chicago because it is setting records almost every month now of the amount of death. See, the Mexican cartels used to work together with intermediaries to help them move weight, move it from the border, smuggle, hire trucks, take it here, Detroit, Chicago, New York, wherever, Cleveland, Indiana, like St. Louis, trucks after trucks, refrigerated trucks, or this company, this front. What they've done now over the last just several years, they've taken it all over. They used to just be worried about shipping weight into the United States, and a lot of the black gangs, O-Block, Wick City, I mean, I could name 20 of them, Black Disciples, Gangster Disciples, that was their bread and butter. Whether it was heroin or meth or crack, cocaine, whatever. Now it's predominantly fentanyl. But they were making a lot of money. That was their business. Supply and demand. I'm not getting into that. I don't have too much of an issue with the supply and demand. As long as it's people that I know. And it's money that's predominantly going to stay in this area. But see, the problem now is this money's not staying here. It's getting shipped right back out of the country. And, some of it's staying here, but not like it would have been how it used to be in the last, say, 15 to 20 years. But that's what's happened. They don't want any competition. They want to maintain control of the entire process now. And they are killing and kill. See, you're not going to hear about this. Nobody is going to tell you this on the 6 o'clock news. Nobody's going to tell you this. You can't even fathom, unless you're close to this world, you can't even fathom the amount of death that's happened just in the last 6 months. Look at this right here. 24 hours of terror as the cartel violence engulfs the Mexican city, or a Mexican city. This is all the way up and down the coast. From Northern California into Oregon and Washington, going into Canada, all the way down through Mexico, and the funnel is at the border before it's able to head east. But, these people run the entire country, and they're terrified. The police are terrified of the cartels. The citizens are terrified of the cartels. Now they have the black gangs terrified of the cartels. 29 people lay dead, including 10 members of the military and 19 cartel shooters, while 35 soldiers are wounded. Guzman, the 32-year-old son of former Sinaloa cartel chief Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, was behind bars in Mexico City after the latest bloody chapter in the history of his family's northwestern domain. That's El Chapo's son right there. And he was just recently arrested, and they fucking went crazy. And this will bleed out into America. Because, again, the Sinaloa cartel, Latin Kings, they all have taken over. They are pushing the black gangs out further and further and further and further. Los Zetas, they're all devastating, ruthless. There's no rules. And what's happening between the gangs in Chicago, the black gangs, is really a power struggle for the crumbs that are being left by La Raza and Sinaloa. They're fighting over crumbs, and they're killing each other in retaliation. But the Mexicans are sitting back laughing. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they keep flooding the border every day. 6, 8, 10, 12, now 14, 18,000 people a day. But this is all coming from China. China, we're at war with China. We're at war with China. And they're flooding it into Canada. It comes down the coast. They're flooding it directly into Central America, and it spreads out through the states, and especially flooding down into Mexico and the cartels. And then it floods north. Right here. The money goes down, the dope comes up. The money goes down, the dope comes up. You see right here on the screen? Here, let me pull that up. Money goes down, dope goes up. The ancient Chinese military leader Sun Tzu understood that the best military strategy was to win without fighting. It's impossible? No, the modern day Chinese have mastered Sun Tzu's tactics with an unarmed assault on the United States. China's stealth infiltration of America with its fatal fentanyl weapon is an undeclared war. Its devastating powder is causing nothing short of generational meltdown. As the victims of the infamous 19th century opium wars, the Chinese people historically understand the devastation of a drug invasion upon their country and its military-aged men. The Chinese have been through this. They've already been through this. They lost a generation of military-aged men during the Opium Wars. The 19th century British invaded China and ravaged its people through the wide dissemination of opium. Opium helped the British gain economic superiority over its Chinese trading rival. The dark history of British oppression is embedded in the Chinese conscience and still taught as patriotic education in its modern curriculum as a constant reminder of this century of humiliation. Has America entered its own 21st century of humiliation? China is manipulating its currency at a distinct disadvantage for American products. Trump tried to fix that. He was crucified for it. He tried to levy this discrepancy with tariffs and was crucified. Why? Because the handful of crooks like the Biden family have backdoor deals with the Chinese Communist Party. This is all proven. It is not a theory. Nancy Pelosi, the Bidens, the big guy, they all have deals with communist shell companies. It's a few families making money because they know that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This is a war for money. You think Nancy Pelosi gives two fucks about the people that are living in South Central Los Angeles or in the ghettos, the hoods of Chicago? She'll wear her headdress and dashiki and put her African map necklace on, and you'll have millions of idiots saying, I think she loves us. Or like Hillary with her hot sauce. Gotta have my hot sauce. And you'll have idiots like Snoop Dogg, White Todd, talking about the coon bunch because people want government out of their lives. Just wake up. I'm begging you to wake up, man. China has forced transfers of our technology with impunity. They absolutely have. China steals our intellectual property with impunity. Absolutely. China violates trade laws by dumping its cheap products to create a large U.S. trade imbalance. That's what everything sitting in every port on the West Coast is. Chinese-made junk. Literal junk. that will break or malfunction within a year or two at the max. But over the years, even since the Clintons, there's been too many back deals made with the communists to make these trade deals so that only a handful of families maintain the amount of power they gain through the manipulation of these deals for the money. Because again, they know it doesn't matter. What matters is money. China now wages its fentanyl war against the U.S., killing thousands of our young people with impunity. And I'll link this article. It's maddening if you guys want to check it out. 24-hour terror cartel. Look at this. You know, I just did a quick search before this video. I just said fentanyl deaths. This is literally 20, 30, 35 minutes ago. And these are the top stories. 18-month-old dies of a fentanyl overdose in Riverbank. Here's the parents. They're charged. 35 fentanyl-related overdose deaths in King County, less than a month. Seattle running out of dead body storage due to fentanyl overdoses. That was 6 hours ago. Mother charged with fentanyl possession as investigation into baby's death 8 hours ago. These people are terrorists, and they're walking right over the border. Trump tried to build a wall, but was called a racist. These gang territories are only expanding. They want no competition. They don't care about controlling the weight and the shipping, and however you get distribute it is how you distribute it. Black and white and Italian gangs, however you distribute it, you do. They don't want any competition anymore. I'm Covert Radio. I got a lot of great shows coming up for you guys. Maybe hit the notifications or unnotify and hit the notify again, because I'm still getting emails, people saying they're not getting notified. They didn't even know there was new videos up. Also, too, I may put a community link up here in the next week. This week, actually, the week of the 23rd. I may go live with Maurice Delk. It's been a while, maybe a year or two that we've done a show together. So that'll be live. I'll give you guys a notification for that. Again, a shout out to Tone Space. You should, if you guys are looking for higher truth, you should check out his last video. I'll also link that in the description, but I got to warn you that you got to really have a open mind to consider the level of data that he's showing you. Because listen to me, everything you ever thought was real is not. Everything you thought was true is a lie. And I'd say 95% of it. I speak really for myself. And that's what I've spent the last 20 years undoing what the first 20 some years have done to me. So, and I'm still learning, and this is my obsession. So, you picked a good person to help guide us through this simulation. This is Covert Radio. You guys take care. Have a good day.